my build. My name is Autumn Ambrose, and today I am making a palace for Princess Jasmine from Aladdin, because this is for my Dark Disney Princess series where I'm turning Princess Jasmine into a werewolf. So I built her palace twice because when I got to the point where I was going to hop inside and do the interior and figure out the layout, I was really unsure whether or not I liked the exterior, to the point where I was like, okay, I think I need to get like a second opinion on this build because I have no idea if I like it or not. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and do like a work in progress tweet on Twitter just to see what people think of it. And the response was super lovely. Lots of people liked it. I was like, oh, this is lovely, but really, you like this place? I don't see what you guys are saying. I really hope I do, because you guys seem to like it like a lot, but I don't see it. I want to see what you see, but I don't. So it's like, okay, let's just keep going ahead, just keep on plowing through because you guys seem to really like it. So it's like, okay, let's just keep going. Let's do like the interior and the layout and do like the courtyard to this place. And, I might start to like it, a little bit. And so that's what I decided to do. I went ahead and did the courtyard. I went ahead and figured out a layout for the original place. And I still didn't like it. So it was like, what? Why can't I see what you guys are saying? Because you said such lovely things about the build, but I still can't see it. What? I can't see. Well, this is so annoying. I can't see what you guys are seeing, and it was really annoying me that I couldn't see it myself. So I was like, okay, let's move on. Let's move on to a different build. Let's go ahead and have a break, have a Kit Kat, refresh my eyeballs, and do something different. So that's what I decided to do. I went ahead and built the purple dollhouse, which gave me a lovely puzzle and conundrum on how to make a heart-shaped window that never went ahead because it was just too much for me. So that's what I did. I built it, and I came back to this. I came back to the Princess Jasmine Palace build, and I was still like, I don't get it. I still don't see it. I built another build. It's now out and about in the real life world, and I still do not get or see what you guys on Twitter was saying about the original build. I still don't see it. I still don't like it. So I was like, fine, right. I think I need to delete the original build and to start again. But the thought of that just broke my heart. I couldn't do that. I spent too much time, too much effort in building the original build that I couldn't bring myself to delete it and start again. That just upset me. So it's like, okay, what if I just change a few bits here and there on the original build and do that instead of like rebuilding it? I just find an original or a newer copy of this build somewhere in Oasis Springs, because there must be one in Oasis Springs somewhere, because the original build just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and so every time it got bigger I had to move it to a different lot. So I said there gotta be a original copy or a newer version of the original build somewhere in Oasis Springs. And I'll just change a few bits here and there. I'll just add and change and delete a few things here and there to the build. So okay, yeah, I prefer that idea. That idea makes me happy. So that's what I did. I went and found a newer, fresher copy of the original build that had no layout, that had no the courtyard at the back. It was pretty fresh and new. And I decided to add and change a few bits here and there, and I was like, by the end of it, I was like, oh yeah, this looks so much better. I'm much happier with the way it works. I'm so glad and happy that I went back and changed a few bits here and there, because this is looking good. And I then took a step back from all the build and changes that I was doing, and I was like, oh, hang on. The original build that I was building on top of is no longer there. I've changed so much, it's no longer there. It's no longer recognisable. So I was like, oh, good luck, future me, future editing me, who will be editing this build. Good luck. It's going to be messy. But building past me didn't care, because building me was just like, oh, this looks good and this looks great. I'm happier than I was with the original one. I'm glad that I redid it. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way it looks. So this is the one that I kept. At the very beginning of this video, you may have saw me sort of like moving forward from that build. So I just felt like, what's the point of like showing you a build that you're not gonna say? So I just like cut it out. So like I said, I'm going to make Princess Jasmine into a werewolf. So tomorrow, I believe, so Thursday the 16th, is when the new game pack is coming out, and that is a werewolf pack. And so it took me a little while longer than I would like to admit to connect those two dots in my head, because it's like, oh, I should really get this build out round about the same time that pack comes out, because that would be brilliant. Because, you know, werewolf is going to be typed in a lot into YouTube, and so it would be great if I could hop onto that train. So I watched the live stream, not live because I completely forgot about it, because I was busy trying to sort out a few more extra details here and there for this build by using the Twisted Mexi tool mod, because I was just like knocking over a few bits and pieces here and there, like decorative objects and chairs and things like that, because I really wanted this palace to look overgrown, dishevelled, crumbling to pieces, and it's not very well kept or well loved. It's just a place that she will just roam around in. She doesn't really care about this place. So I watched the live stream and I quite like the look of it. I wouldn't say I'm excited, because normally when game packs, or just like any pack that comes out in The Sims 4, I keep my expectations low, because you can't be disappointed, you can't be let down, you can't be disappointed because your expectations are so low. So that's what I would normally do with like packs for The Sims 4. And at the moment, I'm like, oh, I could actually buy this when it first comes out, which I wouldn't normally do, because I would normally wait for like a sale, because it's like cheaper. But I might buy this one when it comes out. The world looks great. I mean, the world kind of looks like it was the birth child of the, what's it called? The eco lifestyle world, the outdoor retreat world, and the realm of magic world. It feels like those three got together, had a good time, and then out popped the werewolf world. That's what it kind of looks like to me. The building by looks great. Part of me was like, oh, should I like hang this build back and then purchase the game pack and then put down like the floor cracks and the scratched up furniture into this build and then release it? But I was like, that sounds like a great idea, but also at the same time, I've been sitting on this build for quite some time. I just want to move on. I just want to build my 1960s build. I just want to do the interior of my 1960s build, because I want to look like it looks like I got drunk and threw up on the interior of my 1960s build, because that's what they were all about. They were just like clashy in your face interior, and that's what I wanted to do. I don't want to hang around with this build anymore. I love it. I love the way it looks. I'm happy that I rebuilt it and it looks great in my opinion. But I just want this out of my hands. I just want to release it. So like, that's a great idea, but no thank you. Because the only like floor crack that we have in the game so far is from Get Famous, and it's like the stage marking one, so I use that a lot. I use that pretty much everywhere because it's the only floor crack that we have. I actually just read on Twitter from a sim guru who watched like a stream from someone who used the vampire cracks, like wall cracks, and then using the tool mod to flip them around and put them on the floor. That never occurred to me, but sorry, the stairs made a funny noise, like, there's something climbing up the stairs, perhaps it's my neighbour's cat. So I'm like, it can't be my neighbour's cat. My neighbour's cat's in my room sleeping. So I was like, what the heck is that? But yeah, I didn't do that. I didn't do the vampire floor crack thing because it never occurred to me. I wish I found that tweet, or that tweet was tweeted out earlier when I was doing this, because that would have been brilliant. I'm really paranoid about these stairs because my door is slightly ajar because of my neighbour's cat. Because, you know, I'm talking, probably thinking, oh, what are you doing, mate? I'm trying to sleep here. And he probably wants to leave at some point, so I just got the door slightly ajar. I can't see anything. So yeah. So I might buy it, but I don't know, because part of me feels like it does look good, but at the same time, there have been many times where the game packs, or any packing in particular, has looked good, and then people have like played it and they've put their reviews out like on YouTube or Twitter and go, yeah, nah, that's not for me, mate, I don't think you should buy it. So it looks good and I might buy it when it first comes out, but I don't know, because I'm kind of waiting to see what other people think, because I'm really hoping the game pack injects like gameplay into The Sims 4, because right at the moment I just feel like The Sims 4 really needs a big injection of gameplay, and I'm really hoping that this game pack gives the game that, because part of me really wants to play the game. I love building, it's great, I love it. I mean, I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. But I really just want to play the game, and I really want this to like go well for them. But I wouldn't say I'm excited for it. If anything, I'm more excited for the sideboard that's coming next week, Tuesday. I'm so excited to the point I just want the sideboard to come. It's gonna be flat pack. I want to build it and slot it into the area that we've been having for 3 months now. It's been empty. I just want to build it and pop it in there, pop a lamp on it, and it's great. I'm more excited for the sideboard than I am for the game pack, because I'm just slightly reserved about the game pack. But it looks great. Phones goes very loud. So yeah, this is the courtyard area. Like the original one, I wanted a courtyard area. This one is a lot smaller because it is on a small lot. I basically said, sod you land grabs, and taking your house, your ugly house, and deleting it. And yeah, we have room for a courtyard. So in the middle we have like a fountain, because when Princess Jasmine goes outside to look like a back garden, she goes outside to like a fountain with like some sort of bird statue in the middle with a spouting fountain coming out of it, and then she sort of like sits on the side, plays with the water, and it has like what's it called, lily pads in the middle. She then goes over to like a bird cage and then just sort of like releases all the birds, because she's like, oh, I wish I could be one of them, a free bird, free, so free. So the white thing in one corner over there is trying to represent that bird cage. So I have used the cottage living bird tree branch thingamabob where the birds just come out. So I used that, and then I used some Get Famous wall dividers, and then I used a romantic garden stuff rose Trevis wall climby Trevis wooden thing with a hole in the middle to create the hole in the middle so the birds can fly through, so they're not flying through bits of wood. So like I said, I really wanted this place to be overgrown and falling to pieces, crumbling, and there's so many things, there's so many noises. I just heard something fall down. Go with the next one. So yeah, I really wanted this place to be like overgrown and like crumbling to pieces. It's not looking too great. It's not very well kept. It's not very like loved. So I do put lots of vines and cracks and long grass and weeds and scratches, and I really didn't mind if some of the foliage from the outside was popping through the walls, because it's like, that's what plants do. I remember when my neighbours, their fence was being put back in because it blew over like in a storm or something, and the people who were fitting in the fence, they were coming to the point where that the neighbours' plot of land was meeting ours, so they had to go onto our land, onto our side of the property. Did they ask our permission to come to our side? No. Did they ask us if they could rip up our concrete where we kept our bins? No, they did not. They just ripped it up. Did they ask if it would be okay if they could dump concrete, freshly poured concrete, on top of our Jasmine? No, they did not, because they didn't even bother moving the Jasmine away. They just dumped the concrete on top. But that didn't stop the Jasmine or the honeysuckle, I can't remember which one it was, but it didn't matter, because the honeysuckle, the Jasmine just popped right through the concrete. It's like, you can't stop me, you can't stop me. Even freshly poured concrete can't stop me. I'm gonna pop right through. So yeah, it didn't really bother me that the bushes and plants were popping through the wall, because like, if a honeysuckle plant or Jasmine plant had set concrete on top of it, it could burst right through. I thought that'll be fine. It's fine. So you just saw me do the living room there, and you just saw me do the living room there, and when I was doing the living room, there was a few things that was bothering me about the living room. One, it felt a bit suburban. Part of me felt like it was the size of the living room itself. It was just a little bit too small, like a great size for like a suburban house, but not a good size for like a palace type of a living room. But there wasn't any other space for it, because like I said, it's like a courtyard type of house, so it's more like a U-shaped house. And I really didn't want to stick this on a even bigger lot, because that just meant even more work for me to build. Bear in mind, this is the second time me rebuilding this place. I didn't want to make even more work for myself, so I didn't want to make it even bigger. So I was like, I don't want to do that. So the sizing was an issue. The other issue was that it didn't feel grand enough. I talked about the space might had a hand in that, but also like the decoration around it, that also didn't feel grand enough for me. And I think it might be because this is a style that I have never done before, like building wise or like interior wise, and I was really trying to make sure I was getting down the style to the point where I might have forgotten how to make things look fancy and grand and opulent and make it look like it's dripping with gold. I don't know, my brain was slightly clogged when I was trying to decorate this and focusing on trying to get the style right. But I think the other reason why it felt suburban to me was because it wasn't as grand or as opulent or as fancy or as dripping as gold as it should have been. So I do go back to the living room just to add a bit more grandness and opulence and make it feel like it's more like dripping in gold, to make it feel more like it suits a palace kind of build and look and feel to it. So you saw me doing the kitchen there. You might think, oh, that's a lovely kitchen, love, but where are the appliances? Well, the appliances are in this room here, because I had extra room in this place, but not an extra room that was big enough for a living room. So I was like, okay, normally I would put like a laundry room into this place, but this is a palace, darling. I mean, laundry and palace doesn't quite suit. I mean, normally in a palace there would have to be a laundry room, but would probably be in the basement. But I didn't want to put a laundry in a palace. It just didn't feel like, it wasn't fancy enough. So I decided to make this the place where the appliances would live, because I've been watching an estate agent taking us around really fancy, lavish, rich people's homes, because I'm just fascinated. I want to see what their homes look like. So in these really fancy people's homes or rich people's homes, they tend to have like an extra room where they would keep their appliances. And since I had room, and since there is a palace, I thought, why not? Let's make like an extra room where the appliances would live, and I popped down some kitchen counters in this room, as you can see. I then popped some like items, like decorative items, on top of the kitchen counters, mainly because I didn't want your Sims to cook or prepare any food in this well, they have to cook, but I didn't want them to prepare any food in this little room here. I wanted them to use the kitchen that has plenty of counters. I wanted them to use that room and not the appliance room. I wanted them to use the kitchen. So that's why I chopped up the kitchen counters in the appliance room, just to stop them using it, basically. So yeah. So we are now moving on to, I think this is my favourite room on this side of the house, so this wing of the house, or the palace styling. I know it's just a decorative room at the end, it's just a decorative room, but I really like it. It has like little bits of story to it, because like I said, I want this palace to be like a bit dishevelled, a bit unloved, it's crumbling to pieces, and at some point the wall just caved in. And so I really wanted like a hole in the wall. So to achieve that look, I basically just scaled down a city living window, so one of the bigger windows that we have in the game, and then using the Twisted Mexi tool mod, then made it even smaller so you can't see it. So that left like a hole in the wall, and then when the wall just sort of like crumbled down and fell down, that also made the column in the corner there to fall down, and when that fell down, the cabinets, then that sort of like disrupted the cabinets and the plates in there. And this is basically back in the day when it was a whole palace, when it was a lovely safe palace to be in with no crumbling walls or holes in the wall. That would be the room where they kept the crockery and the cutlery. And yeah, it's basically a decorative room, but I really love it. It has like a little story to it, and yeah, I like it. So at the moment I am decorating Princess Jasmine's bedroom. So she has this bedroom, and then a walk-in wardrobe, and then an ensuite. So in this video I am only showing you me decorating the Princess Jasmine's bedroom. There are a further 4 bedrooms in this palace, all with their own ensuites, but there wasn't just enough time to show all of the bedrooms that are decorated. So I thought this is supposed to be a build or a video about Princess Jasmine. Let's just show off her bedroom. So that's what I decided to do. So at this moment in time, I was at the point where I was like, shall I add Raj? I need to add Raj somewhere. So Raj is the tiger, and I was like, I should add Raj, shouldn't I? I mean, she's a werewolf. She doesn't care about Raj. I know Raj was her best mate, but she's a werewolf now. Werewolves and tigers don't get along. So I was like, okay, let's add Raj in here. Let's use him as a rug. So I popped him down in there. So that's a little nod from Raj there. And I really want to make sure this bedroom was using her colours. So her main colour is the aqua turquoisey greeny blue colour that she wears, and then lots of gold. And as I was painting the walls, there was like 2 panels of the walls on either side that did not want to be painted. That may be down to either the spandrel that I used in her bedroom or the platform that I used in the bedroom, or it could be both, but for some reason I don't understand why, even when I rebuilt the wall, it didn't want to be painted. So I was like, okay, if you don't want to be painted, then there's going to be another hole in the wall. So that's what I decided to do. So there's a hole in the wall on both sides, and it's basically a symmetrical mirror of itself with a hole in the wall. Her ensuite here has another hole in the wall, because like I said, it's a crumbling palace, and you probably need to wear a yellow hard hat in here. It's not a safe place to be. So yeah, I really wanted her bathroom to be really fancy. I had a picture on Pinterest that I really quite liked, where it had this like bathtub like hidden away in its own little room. I only had the room that I had, so I just did this little area here. I also popped down 2 sinks because, like I said, I've been watching this estate agent take us around these fancy rich people's homes, and for some reason, even if the bathroom's for one person, they have 2 sinks. And as I was placing the sinks, I was probably thinking, I don't think they work. I haven't play tested this at all, but I'm pretty sure those 2 sinks do not work. But I really wanted them because, come on, it's Princess Jasmine in a sink. So yeah, I used 2 of them because that's what rich fancy people do. I don't understand why you have 2 sinks. You just need 1. Why do you need 2 sinks? I get it if you're sharing the bathroom, so it's like his and her sinks or her and her sinks or whatever. But if you're just the one person and you have 2 sinks, I don't get it. Why do you need 2 sinks? You wash your hands in it and you wash your face in it. You don't have 2 faces. You only got 1 set of hands. You got 1 pair of hands. You got 1 set, 1 pair. You got 1 pair. Gee Lord. Okay. Sorry, my cat. He's not my cat. He's my neighbour's cat. He just made a funny noise. So what happens when you have your neighbour's cat in your bedroom? He's just sleeping. He made a funny noise. He's making a lot of funny noises today. He's just lounging on my black jeans. He's a white cat. He's a very white, fluffy cat, and he's lying on my black jeans. Just chilling out. My phone's going off. So outside, I'm doing the outside. So I mentioned when she had that argument with her father about the arranged marriage. She went out to her back garden, and that's when we saw the birds in the cage, and we saw the fountain with some sort of bird in the middle. You could also see some trees in the background with sort of like these like shaped hedges and like round bulbous hedges. And as I was looking at that, because I took a screenshot of it so I could go back for like reference purposes, like, ooh, those bushes, they kind of look like the bushes we have in the debug. Yeah, let's use them. So when doing the garden, I thought this would be easy peasy to put together because like I'm just doing what I did on the right hand side. I'm just going to do a mirror reflection of it. It's going to be great. It's going to be quick and fine and lovely. Ugh, this took so long because the palace itself is not symmetrical. It looks symmetrical, but it's not, and it reflects itself in the garden. Because when I was doing the garden, I realised, yeah, this is not symmetrical at all, this build. It looks like it, but it's not. And it when I was trying to do like a mirror image of the other side, it really didn't help it not being symmetrical at all. So it took a lot longer than I expected, but I got there. I think it's somewhat similar. I mean, if you don't count, you'll be alright. So this is where I'm going to leave you. Please like and subscribe, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. So thank you and goodbye.